Ooh, I'm Lando Norris. I think I can compete for a world championship. But you're forgetting that I still managed to fumble every single race. Oh dear, what happens now? Oh no, Verstappen's still here.
But Max Verstappen wins once again.
Boring.
Anyways, after whatever that was, brain damage, something might have gone wrong. But we're basically halfway through the season. You might be saying,
we're not halfway through the season. We're like 9 or 10 races through. There's 24 races, and therefore halfway would be 12 races.
shut up. Nobody cares. We're basically halfway through the season. I honestly think I've seen enough of whatever has been happening in the season to determine which drivers have been absolutely shocking, which drivers are expected to be absolutely shocking, and which drivers, well, we all expected to be absolutely great. Yay! Anyway, with that said, mid-season driver tier list ranking because, yeah. No, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be mistaken. I might be wrong. I might have been wrong all of these years. But I'm pretty sure there are 10 teams on the grid, and each team can have 2 drivers, meaning there are 20 drivers on the grid. And I'm not sure how Logan Sargent, out of a 20-driver grid, manages to be 21st.
What the fuck?
I mean, you got to be absolutely awful to be 21st. And I guess that kind of does make sense and checks out for Logan Sargent, because this season he has been absolutely dreadful. Been far off Alex Albon, agreed. Williams have been down the drain, down the bin. They've been awful. But Logan Sargent still has managed to find the wall multiple times. Still hasn't out-qualified Alex Albon ever. And still just been slower than a turtle. Every race, it seems like he's not closer to finishing the championship. He's not closer to signing another contract with Williams. He's closer to becoming a NASCAR driver, closer to becoming an IndyCar driver, because let's be real, Brody is going to get dropped by the end of the season. Might as well just stop now. Get Paul Aaron, Kimi Antonelli in the seat. Come on, like, I'm sorry. Logan... Now, although Logan Sargent isn't leading the championship, we actually might have a championship battle on our hands. If Lando Norris manages to fix up and actually be able to win races, who knows? Lando Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen championship battle. If you want to see that happen, like and subscribe, otherwise it will not happen. Finally breaking into the top 20. Oh, it has actually taken quite a while for a driver to be in the top. Anyway, Zhou Guanyu, his highlight of his entire career has been his Silverstone crash. And no surprise this year, this highlight of 2024 has been his crash in Jeddah. That's the only thing I remember him for, and him being applauded and congratulated for somehow managing to finish a race in China. Wow, big achievement. Well done. No points scored, no nothing. You're P20 in the championship, and let's be real, Valtteri Bottas is helping that team out more than you are, therefore you're below him, because you're not as experienced as him. I mean, he's yet another driver that doesn't probably have a future in Formula 1. I don't see him staying for another year. And if he does, send this, clip it, ship it, laugh at me, because if this happens, it just won't happen. There's no way he's no. I'm sorry, there's no room for him. Now, it's pretty difficult to see how good or bad a driver has been performing when they have 0 points. Now, on some occasions, it might be actually quite easy to see how good or bad a driver has been performing when they have 0 points, because they're crashing out a lot. Nikita Mazepin comes to mind. Logan Sargent comes to mind. You know, it's pretty easy. They're just awful. But Valtteri Bottas, he hasn't really put a foot out of line. He has 0 points, but you'd expect someone of his caliber, race winner, a 10-time race winner, stood on the podium like 60 odd times, won 5 Constructors' Championships. You'd expect him to at least be in the points on occasions. But I guess if the Sauber's that bad, then you're just a bit... I don't know what to say. You're bad, the car's bad. It all just mashes into one. Race winner, by the way, a race winner. Now, I'm going to be honest, Esteban Ocon hasn't been the absolute goddamn worst bottom puddle, mud, dirt. He hasn't been all that, has he? But what he has been is dropped from Alpine. What he has been is caused carnage in Monaco, and just like nobody wants him. Like points-wise in the Alpine, his season hasn't been the worst, even though Alpine has been one of the worst cars, not just in Formula 1, but in everything. But overall, his season has been one of the worst seasons he's been having. Not just because Alpine's bad, because he's been dropped. His name has been dragged through the ground, and his market value has dropped below 15 cents. Sergio Perez, easy top 5, easy top 3. On the podium, fastest car, easy. Oh my god, I just signed a contract with Red Bull. My life is going absolutely... 17th? 17th out of 21 drivers. That's where I end up. Well, that's Sergio Perez's view. His season has been absolutely dreadful. That was easy to look past the 3 podiums that he scored at the start of the season, but that's kind of expected. He was in the fastest car. Now the car isn't the fastest car, or just is more in line with other cars, and he's been absolutely dreadful. He has barely made it into Q3. He has basically been knocked out of Q1 on like pretty much every race that we've had. He's crashed out on multiple occasions. And then now in Spain, him getting into Q3, him not crashing out and him actually finishing a race, that's like Christian Horner giving him a gold star that you got in kindergarten because, oh my god, you've cleaned up the classroom, well done. You get a gold star. I'll call your mothers and fathers at home saying you've done a good job. That's what Sergio Perez is right now. It's a nationwide catastrophe when one half of the Red Bull garage, Max Verstappen, doesn't win a race. Oh my god, how is he not winning? But then Sergio Perez, if he even gets into the points, it's a nationwide celebration because you just don't expect that to happen these days. Maybe back in the day, but definitely not now. Whoa, hold on. Kevin Magnussen above Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez has like 111 times more points that Kevin Magnussen has. How have you... Well, you see, the thing is, to be good in Formula 1, not only do you have to be able to score many points, you also have to be able to help out your teammate. But the thing is, Sergio Perez isn't helping out his teammate in the Constructors, because let's be real, Red Bull aren't winning the Constructors if McLaren and Ferrari keep cooking like they have been. Whereas Kevin Magnussen has been putting the team first. His team is the priority. It doesn't matter if he's going to get a race ban because of the amount of carnage that he's causing on track. Crash there, contact here, contact there. Doesn't matter because he's defending for Hulkenberg to score points upon points upon points. And that's what a team player is. That's what a good driver is meant to be. Sacrificing himself for the team. But Sergio Perez is sacrificing himself and not helping out anyone. And although Ricciardo is Ricciardo, he's liked by everybody, it's Ricciardo at the end of the day. Funny guy. But you know what isn't funny? Being an 8-time race winner, 1 time in your life, potentially even contesting for championships, but now being slapped up by your very less experienced teammate. You had hopes to get into Red Bull, now you have hopes to even retain your seat in Formula 1 for the 2nd time in your career. Honestly, he's been treacherous, he's been embarrassing, he's been not as good as you probably would have wanted or thought that he would have. And that's why P15 is his humble abode for now. Unless he wins a race, then maybe that will bump him up a lot. Now, being 100% real, it wouldn't be a Formula 1 season without Lance Stroll being in the wall, complaining.
Unbelievable, man. I don't f***ing understand what he was doing.
And kind of sometimes looking like an absolute goofy guy in some certain advertisements. And also, being real, his season hasn't been all that. His season hasn't been tremendous. Well, none of his seasons have ever been tremendous. But it hasn't been absolutely awful. He's been sometimes on par with Alonso, sometimes faster than Alonso. Sometimes he's had his teething troubles. But it hasn't been that bad. And I think P14 is whereabouts he deserves to be. Because other drivers are better, other drivers are worse. However, we just can't ignore the fact that he's been in the sport for ages and ages and even more ages longer. He's been in the sport longer than Lando, Russell, Leclerc, and all of those guys, they're race winners. And then you have Lance Stroll, who stood on a mere podium a couple times, and right now he's being, well, not good at all. Surely he has to have picked up some pace in all of the years that no, he just hasn't. And, well, this spot is where he deserves to be. Now, honestly, last year around this time, Alex Albon was getting a lot of hype, a lot of buzz. Could he be the next champion? Could he be the replacement of Sergio Perez? Could he just be in a better team and do better things. I mean, he was celebrating his couple points in Canada like he's just won his 8th World Championship.
Get in there, P7.
Wow.
And I guess scoring those kind of points on the Williams is, well, it's impressive. But this year it's a whole different story. You can't really gauge the Williams that much because they have a mere 2 points to their name, both obviously being Alex Albon's, because Logan Sargent can't do anything. But yet again, Alex Albon's season hasn't been all that. He's put his foot out of the line a couple times. If this was, say, the USSR, then maybe he would be shot in the head for that. But things haven't been as good as they were last year. He's binned it a couple times. He's done some bad things. He's scored a couple points though, which is good. But I guess the Williams is heavily overweight, sometimes on occasions resembling a little figure of Gorlock the Destroyer, just heavy as and difficult to drive, and Alex Albon can't score points as he did last year because of it. So, yeah. And I think P12 or position 12 or 12, whatever, is perfect for Nico Hülkenberg. He's been good enough that he's even signed a contract to Sauber. Sauber might be absolutely awful right now, but then being bought out by Audi could mean that he will be a front-running car in 20... I don't know, who knows. But he's been scoring points, a lot of points, and has actually seemed to be back better than ever. By back better than ever, I mean not last in the Constructors' Championship. Anyway, he's done an impressive job in the Haas, and he's been more impressive than anyone that we've talked about, hence him being higher on the list than anyone we've talked about so far. He's just been consistent, not crashing, not binning, scoring points where need be, and it's just been all fine. It's been good, it's been good, it's been good. Now, in the nicest possible way, I'm going to say that Oscar Piastri is having a pretty similar treacherous season to the likes of, Sergio Perez. But the reason why I've put Oscar Piastri much higher than, say, Sergio Perez was, number one, he doesn't crash out. Number two, he's actually helping out the team and the constructors. Number three, he's actually not that experienced as Sergio Perez. I mean, Sergio Perez was once named the Minister of Defense. He was great, he was fantastic. But his fall from grace has matched the ones of Kermit the Frog's when he fell from a rooftop. Right now, Sergio Perez is splatooning onto the ground. But Oscar Piastri, in his second year, okay, and what? He's having a couple bad races. Logan Sargent, his second year in Formula 1, and every race is a bad race. But him being in his second year isn't a good enough excuse for me to just give him some grace points. Because, let's be real, he scored one podium compared to Lando Norris been P2 pretty much every single race, except for the race where he won. But Oscar Piastri has just been a bit slower. Therefore, P11's got his name written all over it. And the first driver to break into the top 10. Now, agreed, it's been kind of difficult for my guy to break into the top 10 in races, and his fall from grace, the team's fall from grace, and overall his driver fall from grace, from scoring wins and podiums to now being in one of the slowest cars on the grid. I'm not sure about that one, but Pierre Gasly, I think for the car that he's been given, he's been extracting it as best as he possibly can, avoiding incidents pretty much everywhere. That is unless Esteban Ocon, your teammate who is kind of deluded, tries to absolutely kaboot you into the Monaco harbour. Yeah, on occasions that reminds me of that Jenson Button incident, but honestly, Gasly has been doing a good job in a car that isn't good at all. And, well, he has more points than his teammate. He, well, hasn't been dropped from Alpine, but still hasn't signed a contract. Overall, it's just been pretty good. He's been solid there when Alpine needs him. And that hasn't been much this season because Alpine are for nowhere. Oh, no. Like, genuinely, I have literally just sat down for literally a sec. Open my phone, and I see this. Oh my god. Breaking. Pierre Gasly. Oh my god. Anyway. Breaking. Pierre Gasly has signed with Alpine. So, that's even better. P10 is even more deserved than it probably was. Yet again, this time last year, I'd easily be like, Fernando Alonso, potentially P1, potentially P2, potentially P3 in, well, the rankings. But right now, I'm not sure about that one. Yes, he has been dominating Lance Stroll like you're watching some... Don't do that. But his season this year compared to the season last year right now looks like he's having an absolute dreadful year. 0 podiums, 44 points compared to last year's, oh my god, absolute glory run. And, yeah, well, P9 hasn't scored any podiums. I guess this is the highest I can put him. You expect Fernando Alonso to be up there. And honestly, if he is literally getting everything out of the car at the moment, then that's just where the car is, that's just where he is. Nothing standout, nothing impressive, nothing absolutely shocking that has happened. Oh, P9, mid. Alonso, pretty mid. Aston Martin, mid. It's just where he's meant to be. Now, recency biased might be like, oh my god, oh, Hamilton, you scored a podium. Oh my god, 18th year in a row. You're so good. No, stop with the recency bias. Look at Hamilton's entire season, and it hasn't been all that. Russell has been better than him. Hamilton, for the 7-time world champion, for the 7-time world champion that he is, I'm sorry, either he's not trying as he was when he was in a championship fight, or he's just lost it. There hasn't been any bad performances. There hasn't been any treacherous performances. It's just, well, actually there has, no, P18, quali, China. Compose yourself. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Stop. It's just been mid, okay? It's been mid. For Hamilton, you expect so much, it's just been mid. Now, you could argue another fumbled win in George Russell's large catalogue of fumbled wins. There's been Singapore. There's been... I don't have enough fingers on my hands to count how many fumbled wins there has been, but Canada is another win that he potentially might have fumbled. So how on earth are you putting George Russell over Hamilton? Well, number one, the points don't really lie. He has more points than Hamilton. He has a pole position and iconic celebration. That's going in the history books. Same with all of Fernando Alonso celebrations. History books are being noted down. Anyways, overall, he's just been a tad bit more consistent, tad bit better here and there. And looking past that fumbled win, he's just been a slightly smidge better than Hamilton. Just above mid, still kind of mid though, you know? You guys all know that I'm here for the controversy. 100%, I don't care. I love the controversy. I love the drama. I love whatever is happening. And you've probably already seen this. You probably already know. But you're already probably down in the comments typing like little keyboard warriors because, oh, you can't say that. How are you saying that? That's illegal. No. Yeah, I'm guessing that's 93% of you guys. Why exactly 93? I don't know. But in P6, I've gone with Oliver Behrman. Whoa. How are you saying Oliver Behrman is ahead of Sergio Perez, who stood on the podium 3 times? Daniel Ricciardo. No. Oh, it's not every day, Daniel Ricciardo. What I meant to say was ahead of George Russell, ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who have literally stood on the podium, who have literally got pole positions near 100 points, surpassing 100 points. How are you saying that? Well, for a rookie, not just a rookie, but a replacement driver for a single race weekend, where his neck was literally about to snap and ship its way over to Russia, to the ins and outs of the deepest, darkest little icebergs of East Russia. Not only that, in the single race he had, he literally managed to put Yuki Tsunoda into a nice little split. He managed to score some good, decent points in his first ever race weekend, not bin it, not crash it, and we did better than Nikita Mazepin in his first race. He did better than Logan Sargent ever could, and he was on fire in that single race that he was. Him just is better season overall because that was like, wow, oh my god, no way you did that. Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, there's no shocks, no wows. They're meant to be scoring podiums, they're meant to be scoring points. It's just like another day in the office. But overall, Ollie Behrman has had the single race that he's had has had a better season than everybody else that I've named. You call me out on it, I don't care. I'll charge with my knives, guns blazing at you because I'll stand by this. But someone who I think has had an even more standout season than Oliver Behrman is 100% Yuki Tsunoda. Someone who I went into this year and thought this actually might be his last ever season in Formula 1. If Daniel Ricciardo slaps him up, then I don't see a point of him being in Formula 1. bring in Liam Lawson, swap them out, you know, do a little switcheree-do. And, well, that's just not happened. Yuki Tsunoda has been the one who's been slapping up Daniel Ricciardo. And then people are asking, why is Daniel Ricciardo still in Formula 1? He's been more consistently in the points than Sergio Perez. He has just been outstanding. Anyway, just the sheer fact that he's been that consistent, it's like, we didn't expect this from Yuki. It's, oh, whoa, Yuki Tsunoda, how are you doing this? Yeah, he deserves this P5 spot. Now, Carlos Sainz's start to the season didn't start too well. He was dropped from Ferrari, he had to go to surgery, he nearly bled out. But through all of that, he came fighting like a champion. He won a race, he's been standing on the podium, standing on business, being consistent. Half the time, he's been better than Charles Leclerc. Well, yeah, half the time he's also been worse than Charles Leclerc, but I think a P4 slot is actually necessary because a driver that next year could be jobless, he could be out of the Formula 1 in general, but he's probably not going to be. He's been that impressive for me to put him into P4, although he generally hasn't had any hiccups. P4, I'm trying to make this entertaining, but I can't when there's just nothing to say. Now, I'm just going to say this, after Monaco, every single Ferrari fan probably thought that a championship battle is arising, and so did I. The hopium was high, and after Charles Leclerc's win, it was like, yes, this is it. We are ready. After so many years, it's happened, but no. Even though Charles Leclerc's season has been pretty good, I mean, he's won his Monaco race. That is, well, in itself, very, very impressive. Like, he generally managed not to bin it out, not to make a single mistake for the weekend. And that in itself is also impressive. Overall, Charles Leclerc's season has been pretty good. Stood on the podium multiple times, won a race, and just been, well, better than Carlos, better than everybody that we've talked about because, well, he's just Charles Leclerc. Now, impressiveness, yes, Lando Norris's season has been quite impressive. I mean, he's won his first race, for goodness sake. Surely that is impressive enough to be up. I mean, yes, he is up here. But I think the slight and sorry letdowns of Lando Norris's season so far is that it's not if and when a championship brews up. It's now a championship is here, and he's still throwing away wins like he's throwing away old stocks into the bin because they have holes in it. There's no doubt about it that Lando Norris has been the second best driver on the grid, like full stop, period. That's it. But it's just like you could have had a couple more wins to your name if you didn't choke certain things. But hey, overall, it's still been like a wow, whoa, Lando Norris P2, whoa, Lando Norris P2 every single race season. You know what I'm saying? And last but not least, Verstappen has very much proven himself. And last year, every single race looked exactly the same. Verstappen win. It was all the same. And this year, it's been a tad different, but he's proven himself yet again. Last year, he proved himself with the consistency. This year, he proved himself yet again that he can win every race that he possibly can. But he can win races where his car isn't the fastest car. Canada, Spain, Imola. His car hasn't been the fastest, yet he can still pull those wins off. And he's proven yet again that he's so much better than Sergio Perez, so much better than anyone else on the grid, so much better that he's just winning everything without even though he has to try this year, it's still like no sweat, no nothing this year. It's too easy for him. Anyway, with that said, in the comments, let me know your guys' mid-season list. I don't know, you do that, and whilst you're down there, subscribe and like. Otherwise, you're not real, you're a fake and a fraud, and join the army because this time next year, I'm telling you, there will be something great. So, well, if it's difficult for you to wait, then you don't understand how difficult it is for me to wait. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, otherwise you're not real, and don't die, because then you can't watch the videos, and then everyone's sad. Anyway, peace!